Hey everyone, Johnny here. Don't speak news. News we're not supposed to speak about. And I've got some of that on tap today because I'm having a very tough time getting a recording done. All kinds of static and interference and screen crashes and freezes and so on. So please keep us in your prayers that we can stay on the air here at don'tspeaknews.com because right now it's looking shaky. So anyway, moving on to the news at hand. I'm over here at Patrick Lancaster's Substack, and he's actually, I believe, already in Colombia and on the way to Venezuela. If not already, he's already tried to get into Venezuela but been denied twice. And so he's going to do a special report from there because the frontier is surrounded by the U.S. military. So he's been on the road for 4 days, he says, as of today. Multiple flights, long layovers, overnight buses, border towns, scams, confusion, and uncertainty. By the time I landed in Colombia, I had already spent nearly 50 hours traveling, chasing one simple goal: to reach Venezuela and report on what's happening there as tensions with the United States escalate. This is not a studio story. This is what it looks like when you actually try to get there. So he explains how tough it was just even to get into Colombia, and he said customs was rather easy, but getting to Venezuela, not so much. So he says the U.S. president has openly threatened military action. That's why he's there. Not just against Venezuela, but also against what he describes drug-producing countries, naming Venezuela, Colombia, and Mexico. And like we've said before, guys, if he really cared about the drugs and the drugs that are coming in, he'd be dealing with China, the ones who are shipping the fentanyl into Mexico, and then the drug cartels from Mexico are bringing it across the border into the U.S. But he doesn't address China. Very little. And then he also just released the ex-president of Honduras. He pardoned him. And he was going to be in prison for 45 years here in the U.S. for what? Drug trafficking, cocaine primarily, and weapons, and people, human trafficking. But he lets that guy go. So I guess Honduras and he get a pass, right? It's not about that. It's about the oil. It's always been about the oil and control over all that oil. They don't want Russia and China to control it. And as we've talked about before, Russia has been sending military equipment in there, a lot of it since 2019, at least since then. China as well has been making inroads that way. They have advisors on the ground training the Venezuelan military and militias on how to defend in the event of an attack. And they have all been saying that they would just go into guerrilla warfare mode. And they would drag it out and make it very painful for the U.S. to occupy Venezuela. Remember, that's a huge country. It's all about the oil right now. And like he says in this article, Patrick, he says these words are followed by airspace closures, naval movement, sanctions, seizures at sea. And so we also have a Chinese vessel full of Venezuelan oil heading out of Venezuela now under the protection of the Venezuelan Navy, at least to a point. We'll see what happens after that. But this is also grounds for World War III because Russia and China are involved. Whether it's really being said in the mainstream media or not doesn't matter. They are. And in fact, I've got a video here that I'm going to pull up from someone calling himself 500 Angel on Facebook. And he says he's seventh generation Illuminati. And that's what his family is a part of, the Illuminati. They're one of the big families. He doesn't say which one. But we're going to go over to him now, over here on Facebook, and I want to show you this video.
Whatever everybody at Angel does. So America's about to go to war. It's being announced. There's been a lot of fucking around over there. Let me explain what's happening. This is about oil. This is the invasion of Iraq without all of the wind up, without Congress involved, without the proper channels being created, but it's the same fucking thing. This is a grab for resources. It's either going to be the United States or China and Russia that get that oil. So the United States is going to get the oil and the resources. That's all it is. The boats that they've been blowing up and the people they've killed were not even headed to America. They don't even know that they were fentanyl carriers. They don't even know. It's a psyop. It's also a great diversion from the Epstein files. And I want to remind you guys, if you think I'm a liberal talking piece, we spent $30 million getting Trump elected. This is what we paid for. I will make millions I already know the oil companies that are going to benefit, and I'm already invested in them. I'm going to make millions. So if you think this is something other than what it is, you've been psyoped. It's about oil and resources. It's also about mining other things, but really, it's about oil. Peace, blessings, and shine.
And there you go. You heard it from the horse's mouth, from the perspective of someone that's supposedly a seventh generation Illuminati member. And his family gave $30 million to the Trump campaign. And so he would have that kind of information. And really, he isn't telling us anything that we didn't already know, right? It's always been about the oil primarily. And they don't want Russia and China to have access to all that really sweet crude oil, especially coming right out of the Western Hemisphere. So yeah, this is about oil, and it's also about keeping Russia and China's mitts off of it, so to speak. And that's what he was talking about there. I'll put the links up like I always do on the website, don'tspeaknews.com. Now, we're going to move on to something different, but also just as important. We're going back over to Europe and Russia and Ukraine. And this time we're going to go to the enclave that's in Europe, but it's a Russian colony called Kaliningrad. It's been a while, but we talked about this before. And now, the European Union is threatening to cut off Kaliningrad many times from the Russians and isolate them. And eventually they'd like to take them over, I'm sure. But he says that if threats to the Kaliningrad region are created, Russia will destroy them. So he's making no bones about it. Putin says that if NATO countries start a blockade of the Kaliningrad region, Russia will start a full-scale war in Europe. If threats to the Kaliningrad region are created, Russia will destroy them. Everyone must understand and be fully aware that such actions will lead to an unprecedented escalation of the conflict, taking it to an entirely different level, up to a full-scale armed conflict, he said. I think it's pretty cut and dry on what will happen if Europe messes around with the Kaliningrad region. And if you don't know, it's right here, sandwiched between Poland and Lithuania, and then the Baltic Sea as well. And of course, we have Belarus here, which is the route that the Russians used to get there. But now they're threatening to blockade it. And so if that happens, Putin says that we will eliminate the threats, meaning the Europeans that are blocking it. And like I said here, Putin could have made it any more clear. If NATO tries to blockade Russia's enclave of Kaliningrad, there will be all-out war against Europe. At the end of the day, I believe that's what will end up happening sooner or later anyway. Worldwide Armageddon. It's just about how that comes to pass. God willing, I'll cover this in a video later today, which of course I'm doing right now. So, yeah, not good. We're facing World War III, not just in Europe, but also, like I just showed you, over the resources inside of Venezuela, Colombia, and other places, Mexico. And Russia and China have advisors and equipment in all of those countries. Don't forget about that. And now we're going to go over here to Telegram because I've got some financial news to share with you. Remember last week we were talking about how silver has decoupled from gold and is decoupled from the paper markets. They can't manipulate it anymore because Russia and China and other countries are using it to exchange money. They're backing it with silver. And so they can't stop the rise of silver. It's still over $60. In fact, let's go take a quick look and see where it's at as of right now. Let's go over here to CNBC. Here we go. Gold is what we need to look at because that's where the silver prices also lie. Internet's been really slow this afternoon. So I don't know if they're messing with it again or what. But they might be. Well, they're just messing with my machine in general. Who knows anymore? So, waiting for it to pull up. There we go. Let's go to gold, please. Silver climbs to record high, it says. Gold poised for weekly gain on rate cut bets. So they're betting on the fact that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates again. But anyway, 67.38 is where it's at right now. So it has climbed to another record high. And like the article I shared with you last week said, it's not going to go below 60 ever again because of what it's tied to now with Russia and China and India, all using it as an exchange medium through the UAE, thereby bypassing the dollar. And that's what this is going to talk about here. The bankers always know first, is JP Morgan moving its precious metals trading desk to Singapore? Is that the ultimate warning shot? So here we go. The bankers always do know first. Last Thursday, JP Morgan, the biggest gold desk on the planet, abruptly moved their entire trading desk to Singapore, revealed through a leaked internal email. They told 50 plus employees to pack their families, belongings, etc., and head overseas by the end of the week. This is not the type of thing that happens every day. This is an alarm bell ringing. The internal email that has been leaked states that ultra high net worth individuals are moving money out of the United States en masse. This is highly unusual and clearly something big is happening. The smart money knows that something the public has not yet been told. So you can watch the reading of the internal email right here. Let's check it out, shall we? As we follow the link. Here we go. Maybe it'll get there. Maybe. Like I said, everything's being really slow today, guys. I don't know if it's
Strange
happening.
goings on in the financial
There we
world.
go.
Last Thursday, with no press release,
Wow.
JP Morgan Chase moved its entire gold trading
Well, looks like maybe we won't be able to watch the video. Like I said,
desk,
everything's been really
which
slow.
handles billions of dollars
Reminds me of the dial-up days. We'll pause that.
every day from New York to Singapore.
Well, maybe we can't. Let's just go ahead and close the window. Sorry about that, guys. We've got malfunctions in real time here. So I'll put the link up to this, so if you want to watch that short video, you sure can. But something is happening in the global gold market, and it's a story we're not hearing on the mainstream financial news. For some reason, U.S. institutions are de-risking away from U.S. jurisdiction for their gold holdings. They are buying gold offshore. And last week, in a move that should send a chill down the spine of every investor, JP Morgan moved its entire precious metal trading desk to Singapore. This isn't just a corporate relocation. It's a seismic signal that the Western paper markets are on the verge of a crisis. Is it a preemptive move for the sudden death of the COMEX? Question mark. Good question. For decades, real price discovery in the precious metals has been a myth. The price of gold and silver has not been set by physical buying and selling of metal, but by the trading of leveraged paper contracts on exchanges like the COMEX. And so the paper silver lie, the 400 to 1 disconnect. I mean, that's the thing, guys. They're leveraging these contracts, these paper contracts on silver that doesn't even exist. So this has allowed for massive price suppression and manipulation, but the game appears to be coming to an end, and JP Morgan knows it. That's what we were talking about last week. The game is coming to an end because now it's being coupled with currencies like India's, China, and Russia's. So it's not going to go back down as far as silver goes, and now they've moved the entire gold markets over, gold desk overseas. This is huge. Like he says here, JP Morgan knows it. They know what the COMEX will do when the physical market finally breaks, and they're getting out of the way. The geopolitical earthquake, de-dollarization, and the weaponization of finance. JP Morgan's move is not happening in a vacuum. It is a symptom of a much larger geopolitical earthquake. The global move away from the US dollar for settling transactions between countries, and instead the move towards gold. Now the Venezuela move makes more sense as well because Venezuela has vast reserves of gold. Go look it up. For decades, the world has operated on a dollar standard, but the weaponization of finance, the use of sanctions, and the seizure of foreign reserves has sent a clear message to the rest of the world. The US can and will use the dollar as a tool of foreign policy. This has triggered an unprecedented rush by central banks around the world to diversify their reserves away from the dollar and into physical gold and silver, as we reported before. This de-dollarization trend is not conspiracy theory, it's a fact. Central bank gold buying has been at record levels for the past 2 years. They are not buying paper gold contracts on the COMEX. They are buying physical gold and repatriating it to their own vaults. Like I've always said, if you don't have it in your hands, you don't own it. Paper gold is worthless. This is a direct threat to the paper-based buying system of the West, and it is the macro backdrop against which JP Morgan's move must be understood. So let's dig into the following. This time is different because of the rise of Asia. And like we said, Russia, China, and India are all trading in silver now. So it's not just gold that's being affected. The President Trump Scott Bessent factor and the potential paradigm shift, question mark. The bankers always know first. Number 4, questions. Are the precious metals about to be revalued overnight? Is the US dollar about to plunge? Is the stock market on the verge of a historic collapse? Are the BRICS nations about to make a checkmate move against the Western financial system? Is an audit of Fort Knox finally going to happen, only to find that the vaults are empty, or that the gold that is there is compromised? Precious metals discovery coming for the first time in forever? Question mark. And then the rest is a paid post on this particular Metals and Miners Substack blog. And I can appreciate that. But I'm already tapped out when it comes to subscription monies. So there we go. The bankers always know first. JP Morgan has moved its precious metal trading desk to Singapore. Is that the ultimate warning shot? I think it is. And we've seen the markets moving in silver. And of course, we've seen what gold has been doing as well. And it's not gonna change. Like we talked about last week, silver won't go back below $60, and it has not. And now it set a new record high today. And it's decoupling from gold too. The ratios have changed. And that's because people are using it to back financial transactions now. And they're going through the UAE to do it, bypassing the dollar completely. The writing's on the wall, guys. The writing is on the wall. Are you ready? Are you prayed up and prepped up? Prayed up first because you don't know when your last day in this life is going to be. And the next step is eternity. You want to make sure you spend it in the right place. Make Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior today while there's still time, while he can still be found. He's the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father but through him. Repent of your sins today and turn your life over to Christ. He is the ark that will get us through this tribulation, what's left of it. And he's coming back very, very soon. A lot sooner than people ever think. He comes at a time when we think not, so be ready. Everything, not just this news I'm presenting today, but the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the storms, the famine, the disease, pestilence, wars, rumors of wars, it's all here. So lift up your heads, believers. Our redemption draws nigh. And that will be it for this particular episode. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com is home base for all that we do. I put a lot of stories here we just can't speak about anywhere else. Videos too. Over 3,000 of them now here on the website, don'tspeaknews.com. And so including stories like this that we can't speak about anywhere else, this one here, and many, many more. And so if you'd like to subscribe, contact me. There's a way to do that at the end of every blog. But you can also click on this tab here. And then there's a box to type in your email, and you click on subscribe. You'll also get one pop-up while you're on the article. And Don't Speak News at Proton Mail is how you get in touch. Now, channel support. We are in need of support as we're getting closer to the end of the month. Channel support tab is right here. And all the links to support us are right here, and we thank you very much for that. We've had some unexpected things come up here, and so like I've said, support is always needed. Without you guys, we literally will not be here. And then Rumble, BitChute, and Telegram, all the places to find us around the internet are right there. Click on that tab, and all the places to find us are there. And that'll be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.